So good morning, ladies and gents. It's just 9 a.m. and today is Friday the 13th of May. So I will start with giving you some scary news for next week. As you can see here on the screen, you've got the calendar for, just bear with me a second, Exocharts is playing up. So we've got the calendar here for next week's financial calendar, basically, next week's meetings. And we've got a few things. We've got the monetary policy report hearings for England on Monday. We've got the European economic forecasts as well on Monday. On Tuesday, we've got Bullard speaking from the FOMC. We've got core retail sales, and the chairman of the Federal Reserve speaking as well at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So we've got quite a busy week coming on to next week, and I think, you know, these that are highlighted in red could sort of, could cause some volatility. The ones that are in red usually have a high impact. So, yeah, we could have another volatile week next week. Meanwhile, if we look at the traditional finance markets, the stock market is kind of, mixed bag yet again. Pretty much sort of like a lot in the red, some in the green, but nothing sort of like significant screaming out anything sort of significant, really. On the cryptocurrency heat map, however, we've got something very interesting, which it looks like this is calculated by market cap, and it looks like Luna's overtaken Bitcoin. This is clearly a mistake, of course, but I just thought I'd show it just for trolling purposes, basically, for a laugh. But yeah, unless you've been living under a rock, you know what happened with Luna and Tether blockchain. And it's just a big shit show, basically, and a lot of people lost a lot of money, and I hope you're all okay. And if you're not okay, like I said before in the group, in the Discord group that is, which the link is in the description, my DMs are open, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. So just keep that in mind, and I really mean that. So anyway, with that in mind, it does look like the rest of the crypto market is very much in the green. There's a relief bounce happening right now. Binance Coin is up 10%, Ethereum's up 5%, Bitcoin is up 4%, Solana is up 10%, Doge is up 10%. I mean, all in the double digits. It's a relief rally because we had a massive dump. Like yesterday, well, the day before yesterday, basically, and then yesterday and the day before. So, this is expected, a little relief bounce, but we'll have a look at the technical analysis and just see where we are. In terms of the options contracts, we've got a 1.5, almost 1.5 billion notional value options contracts for May. That's finishing on the 27th of May. And usually what we do is after the second week of May, we start looking at this for the max pain price. The max pain price usually tends to act like a magnet, even though it's a bit of a meme now. But it does tend to act like a magnet. And the max pain price is basically where all these options, both puts and calls, will expire worthless. And the max pain price is now at $36,000. Okay? In terms of volatility, the volatility is very high, of course, because of what's been happening in the last sort of few days. And there we are. So that's the overview, if you like. Let's have a look at TradingView, and I'm just going to double check that everything's working here. The sound is working, audio is working, and video is working. Yeah. Good morning, Jay. Good to see you here, mate. So yeah, I think everything's working fine. Let's just crack on. I'll start with the S&P. And you can see here, basically, I'm going to do the daily chart first. And you can see that this is an overview, of course, for the last sort of like year and a bit. And you can see that the majority, the big problem that I see here is that little rectangle there, which is basically this low volume area. All right, we have tapped and kind of overextended the value area low of 2021 here, as you can see from the yearly VWAP. And we overextended that by quite a little bit, but it got rejected there and it's on its way up now. Now, the real resistance is between the high and the low of this rectangle, okay? So, in essence, we are approaching resistance now. This could affect Bitcoin as well, of course. But if for some reason, I mean, we could get rejected here, of course, and go down. Or if for some reason it goes all the way to the other side, it still remains to be seen if we can get above this level there. Okay, so it could get all the way up to there and then just continue dumping. So we don't really know. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, but above this line here, if we reclaim this line here, then I think we've got a very strong chance to having a proper relief bounce and going all the way to 4,244, which is basically above 2021 VWAP and the currently developing value area low. Okay, so basically reclaim 4,060 and we are we're all right for now, basically. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing here on the S&P, and of course we can look at this in a sort of the smaller time frames, the shorter time frames, if you like. You can see basically. Let me just delete that rectangle a second. I'll leave the brush mark there. Right, and I'll put a little line there. Right, and on the shorter time frames, you can see here, for example, we've just taken over on this one. We've just reclaimed the daily VWAP back inside the value area low of the weekly VWAP, and we've got the current weekly VWAP as resistance above. Okay, here on the 4-hour chart, you can see here on the right, you can see that we are actually just at the value area low of the monthly VWAP, okay, which has perfect confluence with this weekly VWAP. All right, so it's a confluent level there. Additionally, that sort of just bear with me a second. I'm not sure why this is not showing there. Syncing layout. Okay, so it's just much higher. Okay, so you can see we've got a significant level of resistance here at 3972, right? 3972 just happens to be the value area low of the monthly VWAP, and it also is the weekly VWAP, you know, for the current week. All right, so that's significant resistance right now. It also has confluence with the edge of this low volume cluster that we see above. Okay, which you can also see it here. All right, so this is significant resistance until proven otherwise. So this could just tank from here. If, however, we break above this and we go all the way to the monthly VWAP, which is this level here, right? You can see that it has confluence there with the developing value area low of the quarterly VWAP, right? And it has perfect confluence with this, even though it's not showing here for some reason. Perhaps this is too far out. There we go. Okay, so I'll draw that again, just so that you guys are not confused. So what I'm looking at, so I've just put that on the top right there, as you can see here. Okay, so you can see it there, and it has perfect confluence with the monthly VWAP. Okay, so the edge of this high volume cluster, the edge of the high volume cluster also has confluence with the monthly VWAP. So basically this is all resistance until proven otherwise. So we've got 3972, and then really to be out of the hot water, if you like, 4071. If we can get above that, then we got a strong chance to go in all the way to perhaps the quarterly VWAP here on the top right, and the previous year's VWAP close, which is around about 4250. Okay, so that's what I've got on the on the S&P, right? So let's do the same here with the Nasdaq. If I look at it on the bigger time frame, I'm going to do the same thing here with the trend line. Okay, so we've got strong resistance above here. Okay, so let me just put a little line there. And now if I make this smaller, you can see that strong resistance there. Basically, we've got the weekly VWAP. We've also got the value area low of the monthly VWAP, right? We've got that at the edge of that high volume cluster, or the low volume node, if you like, right? And basically market structure break here, which was a bit of support, and then it fell through. Okay, so either way, this is a confluent level, and we need to be above this level in order to have a little bit of hope that it's going to go up, right? At the moment, there's definitely a relief bounce happening, as you can see here. Okay, we tapped it twice, and then it looks like it wants to go up, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, with the weekend coming, I'm not sure if it's going to happen over the weekend, and also with next week's volatility, if there is any volatility coming out of those meetings. Anything can happen, right? So that's what I've got here. If, however, we find that this is indeed resistance and we're going to go back down, the next significant level for me is this level here. Okay, so you can see that basically, if I was to draw a line there, right, so this is the previous, so this is 2020 value area high. That's exactly where the price bounced. Right, you can see it here. Okay, so let me just delete that and put a trend line. Look at that, it's almost perfect, right? So almost to the dollar. So that's the next level of support, of course, and if we break below that, and we do indeed sort of break down the price, then the next level I'll be looking at is the previous year, so 2020 VWAP close, as an area of support, which also has confluence with a low volume node. Okay, so essentially we'll be traveling the whole of this high volume cluster here. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see if we do have a chance to break above. If we break above, then there's a strong chance that we come all the way up here, okay, and travel the whole distance of this high volume cluster. That would be the target there. If, however, we break down here, that'll be the target down here. Okay, so that's what I've got here for the Nasdaq. Let's move on to Bitcoin. So maybe I should go over what happened in terms of technical analysis here. Okay, so on the daily, you can see basically that this was an area of support, and like I said to you guys last week, it had been battered. It'd been tested so many times that I didn't know if it was going to hold, and clearly it didn't. Okay, so I was expecting to bid and to enter my trades here, maybe even as low as 27,500, but I was looking really at this level here. I thought if we go down there, then I'm not so convinced, again, because this is a high volume cluster, and falling out of that high volume cluster means that we're imbalanced. Okay, and the next level that I would be expecting, of course, because there's hardly any volume down here, this is a big gap in volume there, and here, right, because you can see here, right? So let me just delete those marks again. I'm not sure where those come from, but I'll delete that. Okay, so basically these blue rectangles that I put there, if you guys saw the one on Wednesday, you know that these are just highlighting low volume areas, okay? And I was highlighting those because they tend to act as support unless proven otherwise. And if they're proven otherwise and they're not indeed support, the price travels very quickly through that because people do not want to trade in there. There's a lack of volume, and it shows that obviously there's not many people that want to trade there, okay? So either way, we dipped all the way to the edge of that volume there, to that low volume node, the lowest one, around about 25,300, okay? And then we kind of got out of that. We're basically retesting the edge of this high volume cluster here, right? So that's basically what's going on here. So if we can get back above this and re-enter this high volume cluster, then I think we've got a very strong chance of going up, okay? And we could potentially go all the way to the other side of the balance at 44k, right? Which is the previous year's VWAP close. But, you know, this is a bit ambitious. We're still at 30,000, right? So this is if somehow we manage to get back inside of there and hold this low volume area now as support, okay? We've tested it, come back up, got rejected, and then going up. That's the positive, okay? That's the kind of the bullish scenario. However, we've not broken above that volume cluster, okay? We're not broken inside yet. This was previous support. When support gets broken down, what does it turn to? Resistance, okay? So this is resistance until proven otherwise. Everybody's watching the green candles and thinking, oh my god, this was just a fake out, we're going back to fucking 50k. It's possible, but I'm not convinced, okay? For me, this is resistance until proven otherwise, all right? And I'm not being a bear, I'm not being, you know, I'm trying to keep sort of a neutral bias. If we break above, for me, it's around about 31,300. If we can break above that, or 31,000, let's say 32k, just to be on the safe side, right? If we break above 32k, then I'll be convinced that we're on our way to 45. Okay? Of course, there's plenty of resistance above, right? We've got this level here. We've got the yearly VWAP. We've also got the value area high. But overall, when we step out of a balance area and we enter a balance area, what tends to happen is that we travel to both sides to firm up balance. The only thing that can stop that is this level here, which is the point of control, where most volume is being traded. Okay, so without looking at any of the sort of the intricate details, just entering this high volume cluster means that we are bullish, and I'll definitely be long all the way to 45k. All right, that's basically what I'm seeing on the higher time frames. However, let's have a look at the rest and just see if I can find any confluent levels. Okay, so let's start. We've seen the higher time frame, right? So we know that this is resistance here. Okay, it's around about where we are now, 30,500. Okay, so this here is on the right hand side. It's the quarterly VWAP, and we've got, as you can see here, with the developing value area low of the quarterly VWAP around about this level here. Can I see any confluence in that? Well, I can see that it's basically the same area where this weekly level is. There's a weekly close here at 31,700. It's the value area high of the current week's VWAP, and it's also very close to the developing month VWAP. Okay, right about here. So what you know, that tells me that 32k is an important level. Additionally, as you can see here, very low volume area. Okay, so again, this is either going to be resistance or the price will fucking smash straight through that. So you have to bear that in mind, okay? At the moment, I'm not feeling particularly bullish. Like I said, we are approaching resistance. We're definitely at resistance now. So we'll just have to wait and see if this is indeed resistance or not. But, you know, 32,000, 31,700 is an important level. And if we can break above that, then that's fantastic, okay? That's brilliant. that's the next levels that I'm seeing right now. Okay, so of course, even if we break above 32,000, we will still have the quarterly VWAP and the value area high of this month here, right? So you can see on both these charts, I'll make a little circle there. Okay, so on the quarterly VWAP there, it's also the value area high of the month, and it's also the value area low of the developing year and the previous year VWAPs. Okay, so that remains a really important level, around about $36,000. All right, so with that in mind, you know, breaking above 32K could, you know, I mean, like I said, on the higher time frame, it looks like it means that we enter a new balance area, which is a high volume cluster, and as such, it is possible that we go all the way to 44K. But it might take months, it might take weeks, and it's not without other levels of resistance on its way there. Okay, so it's not going to be an easy, it's not just going to smash straight through and goes through there anyway. I could be wrong, but I've seen weirder things happen on Bitcoin. But yeah, just not to confuse things too much, 32K right now is the level that you want to watch for. Okay, so if I look here at the weekly, okay, and this is the 30-minute chart. Okay, I could even put it on the 1 hour chart, and this is the 30-minute weekly VWAP, sorry. Okay, so let's just draw a little range there. I would say the range from down here, from these lows to those highs. I'm going to take the VWAP off just for a second. Okay. Right, so we've got that weekly level there that it's a weekly close that goes all the way back to 12th of July 2021. Okay, we've just smashed straight through that, but you know, this was supposed to be support. If it's not support now, what will it be? It'll be resistance, right, on its way up, if it was support on the way down. So it remains to be seen if it is or not. It does look like it's been acting as resistance already. In fact, here we failed at that resistance point, at that weekly level here, right? And when it failed there, the price had a massive reaction there. This is because of that meeting. Like I said to you guys on that particular day, I'll go over it again. If the first movement of that meeting, of the FOMC meeting, is usually the fake one, and that's exactly what we did. It come down and then it went straight back up again, okay? It got rejected from the bottom of the range. But we couldn't get above that weekly VWAP. If I remember correctly, yeah, the VWAP was there, right? And we couldn't get above it. And it's also a weekly level, right? 31,800 or whatever. So the price just kind of like smashed straight through out of the range, retested the range here, could not get back inside, and then it dumped. Okay, it kind of bounced here, it kind of bounced on a daily level. It was a daily close at 26,228. It closed above that, and it traveled straight up to the next daily level, which was around about 29,700. Okay, and then it just kind of like continued to go up, and now we're back inside of this range, right? So on the shorter time frame, this looks really quite bullish, right? Because basically we've just re-entered the previous range. Let me just put a rectangle here so that you guys can see it better. So we've just re-entered this range. So what can you expect from that? Well, for now, like I said, 32,000 remains that level of resistance, right? It's the edge of a high volume cluster and everything. So if the price comes all the way down here, right, and it bounces, this is a decent long trade all the way to that level there. At this level, am I going long? No. The only way I'm going long there is if we smash straight above it and then confirm it as support, right? But this is a range nonetheless, and this range will probably be respected. So we'll have to wait and see. Will we come all the way to the equilibrium, to the middle of the range, and then dump, right? Of course, it will depend on the S&P and the Nasdaq, but it could do that, right? It could be just a major fake out, right? It could come all the way to 31,000 and then just kind of dump. Or if we break above that equilibrium, then again, like I said, we've got the top of the range here, around about 32,800, and we've got that very important weekly level at round about $32,000. 32 remains the level of interest as far as I'm concerned, and unless we break above that, I'm not convinced that we're going up. Okay, if we break out of this range, right, somewhere above like this, right, and sort of kind of rally from the top, basically retest this and confirm it as support, then the next level that we've got is a monthly level around about $35,000. Okay, that's an important level as well, and yet another weekly level at 37,700. These are basically weekly closes and monthly closes. These are important levels. They do get respected very, very often. So you have to keep all this in mind, right? Even if we are to go up, there's going to be plenty of resistance above. That monthly level's also got confluence with a low volume node there, and so does the weekly. So I'm not convinced, okay? If we break above 32,000, I think we've got a very good chance to start moving up to perhaps even 35,000. And then I'll be definitely convinced that we could be doing something like, you know, break above that, right? Go to the next level. We could maybe rotate here for a little while, smash back up, because we've entered that balance area, which is the big high volume cluster that I showed you on the daily here, right? And that means that we've entered that, and we're very likely to go all the way to at least $40,000. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, this is basically the bullish case scenario. All right, the bearish case scenario, I have to revert back to the daily chart. Okay, if the bearish case scenario plays out, meaning if we find resistance here, right, let's say that we find resistance at this level here. I'll just put a little line there. Or maybe even at 32,000. Let's have a look. Where's that? Around about there. 31,500, 31,700. Okay. These are important levels for me because you can see that there's a massive shelf there. There's a ledge on that volume profile. Okay. So breaking above this would definitely confirm to me that we have some bullish momentum in our favor. But we've still got this level here of resistance, right? We you know, it remains to be seen. We're right on it. Okay, so this, in my opinion, is a perfect entry for a short. Higher probability, because we've just broken through this level of support. Right? Support, support. Broke below it, and now we're retesting it. For me, this is a short. Right? So I started off giving you the bullish case scenario because I know a lot of people are very sad and very desperate and whatever, but we have to be objective here. Okay? This, looking at it objectively, is a short until proven otherwise. If we go above these levels, I'm happy to go long. Okay, I'm happy to flip my sentiment, but at the moment I'm bearish because we've gotten below this high volume cluster. All right, so for me, this is a short position here. Okay, the invalidation is very clear. It's around about there, and I'll be targeting this high volume cluster here at 20k. This is a big swing trade. Okay, I'll be targeting this one, but I will be taking profits right about this level, right about 24,000. Okay, because also we've got a little high volume cluster there. Does that make sense? So this is basically break below support, test the support that is now resistance, and then smash straight down. Okay, and because it's a low volume area, it'll go very quickly through that. And in my personal opinion, I'd take profit here, 25k. Right, it's a big round number. There's a little bit of support there with that consolidation, but ultimately, where I want to see the price is coming all the way down here. All right, so this is my sort of personal opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm just telling you how I see things right now. Okay, so we've broken support, and we're now retesting it. In my personal opinion, you see this in like the 1 minute chart, the 1 hour chart, all the time. When you break support and when you go and retest it, that's an entry for a fucking short. And that's the way it is, man. So I'm not here to I'm not going to try and paint a bullish picture and say we're going to the fucking moon, because I'm not one of those people. You need to follow fucking, what's his name? I don't even know their names. All those fucking stupid YouTubers. Objectively, I'm bearish, okay? Unless we break above here. Okay, break above here, that's fantastic. That's great. 32,000, that's a signal for a long, and I'll be targeting this level here, and eventually that level there. All right? That would be the long position there. All right? So something like this. And I'm happy to be wrong and to shift my bias. The invalidation is very clear, which is below there, and I'll be targeting the low volume node up here, and again, like I said, I'll be taking profit here, here, and here. All right, so with that said, I think I can move on to basically. I think everybody's clear on that. If you got any questions, please ask. I'm trying to be as objective as possible here, but those lines that I've just put as low volume nodes, right? It's not showing on that one, but it'll show on this one. The price is already struggling there, okay? The price is definitely already struggling there. So the good thing is that we've kind of broken back inside the value area low of the monthly VWAP, right? So I could be completely wrong, but like I said, break above this level here, right? And then we've got the monthly VWAP as well, right? This could be the mother of all shorts. Basically do something like this, rally up like that, right, and then get rejected, fall back inside. If it falls back inside of this, then you know that this is an entry for a short and we're going down. All right, of course, it's not always as simple as that, but moving on to the weekend is going to be higher volatility, perhaps because there's low liquidity in the books, right? There's low liquidity in the books anyway because everybody's fucking shit scared and everybody panic sold. But regardless of that, this is resistance until proven otherwise, and that's basically all I'm going to say. I don't really have anything else interesting to say other than the fact that where's my short entry and where's the invalidation, and it's very clear, right? Invalidation above 32,600, something like that, above that monthly VWAP. The short really entry is round about here, 31,000, something like that. Okay. So yeah, I mean that's really it. Okay, if we break above again, like all my invalidations, let me just delete all this crap. Yeah, this weekly level could be an interesting level because previous resistance, right? Okay, it's not really, it wasn't really support, but it's a weekly level and it's being respected as resistance. Break above that, and I think maybe we've got a chance to go all the way up there, but I'm not convinced. I think this is more like a sort of like a fake out to the upside and then boom, down. Okay, so that's just my personal opinion. You guys do what you want, but at least you've got now some reference points. Okay, you've got the invalidation, you've got resistance levels, you've got support levels, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, in terms of support levels, there's not really a lot down there, you see. It's a low volume area all the way down. So for me, support is around about here, 25, what's that, 23, 24K, right? And the next level is 20K. So that's where we're going unless we can break above this resistance, above 32K. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Moving on to Exocharts, let's have a look at Exocharts and see where we are. We start off with the monthly market profile. You can see that we basically had 4 months of balance there with a value area low at round about $37,000, $38,000. We've broken down from that, and we're trying to seek balance, but we've not even managed to get back up there to retest it. So if I expand the clusters, you can see it's very clear that we haven't even come back all the way up there to retest it. Okay, so even in a bullish case scenario, right, let's say that we break above 32K, we break above 35K, and we get all the way to 37K, we've still got this fucking shit to get on with, so this is definitely, I'm not going to wait to be bearish until I'm there. I'm bearish now, right? But I'm not going to be waiting to get there to be bullish either, right? Because it's a massive fucking distance. But you can see that there's going to be plenty of resistance above, all the way to that 41K level that I was talking about, and perhaps even 45K. All right, that's the bullish case scenario targets, and the bearish case scenario is all the way down to 20K. So that's the overview. That's on the monthly. Let's have a look at the daily market profile. The daily market profile, we've left a poor low. I can just see that there already. Oh no, it's okay. It's got a few. I don't know why this is at 32 tick. Let me just put that at 60. there's definitely an excess there, so that's okay. There's no pull lows, I beg your pardon. This here, what we've got is a composite, I believe, of 2 days. Let me just reset that. Yeah, so that's 2-day composite merged together because the value areas kind of overlap. And we tried to get back inside of that value area low, but we couldn't. Okay, we got rejected from there. So at the moment, the price is down here, 30,200 or something like that. So we'll have to wait and see. We've got a naked party control at 31,300, okay, and the value area high of that is, surprise, surprise, 31,961. Again, 32,000, right? If we look at that anchored VWAP, this is an anchored VWAP from the highs, right, from that previous swing high. Guess where it is? 32K. All right, so plenty of resistance above at 32K, lots of confluence at those levels. All right, there is plenty of anomalies above. We got naked points of control at 33,500, 34,500, and $36,000. But again, unless we can break above 32K, we've got no fucking hope in hell of taking those. We've left a naked point of control below us at around about 28,500. Okay, this is a time-based point of control, naked point of control. So we'll just have to wait and see if we go and take that. For some reason, I'm not showing. This is like, you know, there's not a lot of history of the price being down here. It goes back way too far. So we'll have to look at the volume profile for that. So let's start with the daily volume profile. In fact, no, let's start with the monthly. Is this the monthly? No, that's the weekly. This is the monthly, I believe. Yeah, this is the monthly. So we've come all the way down there, but we didn't really. Let me just put the CPR on, and I will put month developing 12. That will come on in a minute. Just bear with me just a second, please. All right, so you can see that we've got a naked point of control, a monthly one at 19,233. So if we were to go down to that target that I was talking about, the ultimate target for the mother of all shorts, if you like, from up here, that's the level there, 19,321. I'd be very interested in buying there. Okay, just again, just my personal opinion, right? So let me just correct that a second. Show CPR, CPR settings. There we go. All right, so you can see that this is basically the composite of the last 12 months, right? So as you can see, the beginning of the year started around about here. Okay, this is the beginning of January, right? And it's just been ranging. We've just been in a fucking massive range between 30,000 and you know, more or less 65,000, $30,000 range. That's basically all it's been doing, right? Deviation to the upside, come all the way back down when we tested the other side. So, you know, the argument for the bulls is, can we break above these low volume nodes here? Okay, if we can break above that, like I said, 31,000, 32,000, then I think we've got a very good chance to start moving up these. Okay, but until then, it's the short, in my opinion. All right, so here we are. 20K, 19,264 is the naked point of control to the downside. We've also got a naked point of control at around about 48,700. But, you know, again, that's just as far as this one, pretty much, right? We're somewhere in the middle of that. So we'll see which one we take out first. So that's the monthly volume profile. Let's have a look at the weekly. Should be a little bit more granular. And you can see we've got a naked point of control here at 22,800. And we've got way more down here below 18,000. Okay, so we've got plenty of naked points of control there. We've also got one here at 43,500 to the upside. Okay, right now we're somewhere in the middle of these two, right? So I'm pointing, I don't know if you guys can even see the cursor, so I'm just going to show you here. I'm looking at this naked point of control here and this naked point of control, right? So we'll see which one we take out first. In my personal opinion, again, I'm biased, and I'm looking at this one at the bottom. Okay, so that's the weekly volume profile. There's not really much to be said there. As for the daily volume profile, interestingly, we took out this naked point of control, but we didn't take out these ones. Okay, so we've got one at around about 25,000, another one at 24,400, and another one at 23,000, and it goes all the way down to 6,000. Okay, does it mean that they're all going to get taken out? Of course not, right? I'm expecting to buy around about 20,000. I think at 20,000 really is sort of like the capitulation stage where everybody's lost their shit and sold everything and get rid of all these fucking celebrities and all these idiots that have gotten into crypto lately. But anyway, you can tell I'm a bit sour. So where we are here with the volume profile on the daily is we've taken out this naked point of control. We've got another naked point of control here at 34,300. We've got another one at 36,000, 35.9 or whatever, and another one at 37. Okay, so if we are indeed to be bullish, okay, and we are to go back, let me just make this a little bit clearer. Okay, this is again an argument for the bulls, right? Let's just say that this little range here, we've fallen out of that range, right, which I showed you on the monthly volume profile, market profile a minute ago, the 4 months, right, where we've fallen out of it. We haven't even retested it. Let's say that the market now is very bullish. We get above $32,000, which is again the value area low there, right, 32,000 something. We get above that, we smash straight through these low volume nodes, and the bulls are in control again. Right? If the bulls are in control, we'll take out these naked points of control. Right? But when it comes to this level here, 37,500, that's really where the cookie crumbles. Look at the size of that volume node. Okay? We've got a mini one here, triple distribution. Right? We can come all the way up to here. We just delete those. Okay? Come all the way up to here and dump. We could come all the way up to here and dump, and we could come all the way up to there and dump. This one here, okay, is a 37,500 is a key one, because as you can see, we'd been ranging inside of that. All right, I know I'm giving you like a really extensive technical analysis, but I mean, this is just so that you guys can perhaps watch this video over the weekend and try and understand how I trade, and you know, this is just like me trying to help you out. But ideally, what we want to see for the bulls really is reclaim that 32k. If we can reclaim 32k, then we've got a very strong chance to go all the way to 35 and perhaps even 37.5. Over there, we'll have to wait and see what happens, okay? But potentially, if we break above that, then 41k, we've got a naked point of control there as well. All right, so we'll just have to wait and see if we can get all the way up there or not. At the moment, I'm not convinced unless we break above 32, and that's the long and the short of it. Okay, I could look at some of the, there's no point of looking at the footprints. The volume has definitely dropped off. It's increased a little bit at the bottom. It's kind of dropped off again this morning. I just had a look. So there's not really much else to be said on Bitcoin. So let's just move on to Ethereum, I guess. I hope everybody is clear with that. So let's move on to Ethereum USD. So here we are, Ethereum USD. Let's start with the daily chart. And this has got the yearly VWAP on, okay? So you can see that basically where we bounced is exactly at the value area low of the 2021 VWAP. Okay, so this is, you know, really, really strong for Ethereum. Even though we dumped all the way down here, it got accelerated because of the dump on Bitcoin and the dump in the traditional finance markets. But yeah, I mean, it's strong for Ethereum. Okay, that we respected this level. All right. So again, we are at a low volume area. You can see here, this is a big distribution, of course, but it's divided in two. We've got a low volume node in there, right? So keep making these penises. So let's just look at the balance areas that I've drawn out for you, where it highlights. Let's just forget the VWAP at the moment. That's not what I meant to do. Let's just forget the VWAP for a second. Okay, so basically you can see here what I've done with these rectangles is I've highlighted the edges of each of these volume clusters, right? Right now we've come all the way down into this one, but it looks like we're getting rejected there, right? Do you see that? We got rejected there. And now the price is pushing up back inside of the previous area of balance. And the previous area of balance, just be a little bit more accurate, is there. Okay, so the previous area of balance is inside of this high volume cluster. And again, we're right there. You know, for Ethereum, again, it's the same thing. Reclaim this level here, confirm this as support, and we've got a very good chance of coming all the way back up to $2,800. All right, and then basically have a little range inside of this until we break to either side. Okay, this remains resistance because it's a low volume node, and again the same repeats, right? If we get all the way up here and confirm that this is support now, then we go all the way to 3,600. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just showing you what's likely to happen if we are to break above and what you want to see for a confirmation. Of course, it really doesn't matter too much what Ethereum does because Bitcoin might have other ideas. So you have to keep an eye on Bitcoin if you're trading Ethereum. But this is essentially it. If Bitcoin breaks above 32K and Ethereum follows and gets somewhere inside of here, right, means that we are now entering a new balance area and we've got a very strong chance to go all the way up to this edge here. All right, 2,800. Just as quick as it traveled down, it could just kind of fill all the way back up. Larger liquid moves tend to get filled, right? Don't want to go too much over that, otherwise this technical analysis is going to take too long. But you know what I mean by larger liquid moves are basically these big, long candles like that, right? So you see it here, large liquid move, it gets retraced. This was a large liquid move, the price comes down, it retraces, okay? This was a large liquid move, gets retraced. This one was a large liquid move, it got retraced. It happens all the fucking time. Look at this one, large liquid move to the downside. What does the price do? Goes all the way back up. So it is possible, okay? We could actually just go all the way up to here, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm waiting for confirmation. So what do I need to see for confirmation for the bull? I've told you what I need to see for confirmation for the bulls. Where's my short signal? Well, this is my short signal here, okay? If we get rejected at this level and we fall back inside of this, right, and we cannot get back above this here, this area, this is a short signal, and I'll be targeting 1,600 and perhaps even as low as $1,000, okay? So this here will be the next level of support. In fact, let me just adjust that a little bit. Okay, and then we've got a tiny little rectangle there, tiny little bit of volume there, which is basically pertaining to that little consolidation there. And that's about it, right? So if we cannot hold 1,500, if we get dumped here, right, if everything dumps here and it goes all the way to 1,500, wrong tool, just bear me a second, short position, let's say that we get rejected there, okay, the stop is just above validation, basically inside of the other cluster, right, and you could target this level here around about $1,500, and if it breaks below that, then the next target will be around about $1,000. Again, big round numbers, right? So it's no surprise that we've got such low volume nodes. Just bear with me a second, I've got to put the blinds down because the sun has just come out and decided to shine. I can't see the fucking screen. So is everybody clear on Ethereum? That's a higher time frame view on it, right? From a short-term perspective, let me just delete all these scribbles. From a short-term perspective, let's put the view up back on. Okay, the good thing about what's happening with Ethereum right now, from a short-term perspective, is that we've bounced here, right? We've bounced on that value area low of the previous year's VWAP, okay? But we've got plenty of resistance above. We've also, what we've done here, and this is actually the wrong chart, so just bear with me a second. I know, it's fine. We've also just reclaimed the value area low of the weekly VWAP and the daily VWAP. We've got resistance here at around about 2,200, which is the weekly VWAP. Okay, the value area low of the weekly VWAP and the daily VWAP. I don't know if I said that right. Sometimes I talk a bit quick and I get confused and say the wrong thing. So I just want to make sure I said that correctly. We are struggling here at the moment. You can see that on the 4-hour chart because it's the value area low of the current month's VWAP. Okay, so, you know, we've got plenty of resistance above. If we get above, if we manage to get above this weekly VWAP here, right, meaning if we can smash straight through the value area low of the monthly VWAP, right, which is confluence with the daily VWAP, the next level will be this weekly VWAP here, right, round about $2,200. If we can break above that, the next level will be the monthly VWAP, which, as you can see here, has perfect confluence with this side of the chart with the value area high of the weekly VWAP, okay, as well has perfect confluence with the quarterly value area low. All right, and if you look on the top left here, you can see that that level is also very confluent with the value area low of the developing year, the developing value area low, okay, and this low volume node at 2,500. So you can see that it all starts coming together like that on top of those balance areas that I showed you from volume, okay. It kind of all comes together and it has confluent levels. So we've got plenty of resistance above, and again, even if we go to the upside, it's going to take fucking ages to repair all of this. There's no two ways about it. So just bear that in mind. Don't get overly bullish even if you see a massive green candle. You know the levels now. You know that basically Bitcoin has to break above and stay above 32k. You also know that the fucking legacy markets have to play ball and we have to break that resistance. We are at resistance, like I showed you, for the S&P and the Nasdaq, and unless we can break above that on the traditional finance markets, then I think Bitcoin's got very little chance of breaking above 32k because the markets are so correlated. And, you know, as you know, and I say this every fucking time, if Bitcoin dumps, everything fucking dumps with it. Doesn't matter what technical analysis I do on Ethereum or on any of the other altcoins, okay? So just keep that in mind, all right? I've showed you, that's why I always start with the legacy markets and then Bitcoin, because those are the more important ones. And these basically, I can give you the levels to watch out for so that you can go back and watch with the timestamps and everything, but you still have to pay attention to what Bitcoin's doing. All right, so I hope this helps you. Let's have a look, go back to, we move on to Ethereum BTC. Okay, so let's just look at ETH BTC now and see where we are. And this is on Bitfinex. Maybe, where is the just see if I've got that here. Okay. All right, so support and resistance levels, let's take those off. Okay, I'm going to delete all those scribbles. This circle was an important level, okay? This was basically, like I said, this is a very important level. This is the developing value area, sorry, the developing VWAP 2022. It's also the value area high of the previous year's VWAP. And it was also a trend line that we've just broken that goes all the way back to fucking June 2021. All right, I expected this to hold. It didn't, okay? What did hold, however, was the developing value area low here. As you can see, that's exactly where we closed above, right? Which is also a low volume node. And we're closing above that, and we're kind of trying get back inside of this high volume cluster. We'll see if we can do that. All right. Either way, even if we can do that, again, this could be like a deviation, like the deviation that we saw here, right? Either way, this is either a massive bargain on all of the crypto, or this is just basically, you know, the beginning of a prolonged bear market. So you just have to bear that in mind. Okay. So for now, this level here, this is more than a deviation, I believe, but the only reason that I say that it's more than a deviation is because of the force at which it went straight through it. It wasn't just a little sort of like bit of price action. Okay, so in my personal opinion, and I might just being a little bit biased here, you know, we could just see this as a swing failure pattern and reclaim that level. So it's, in essence, what I'm saying is if the price gets back above here, this was a deviation and it's time to go long on Ethereum again. Okay, but until then, this is now resistance. All right, so effectively what we could see is the price going all the way back here, respecting that trend line and coming down from it. Okay, so we'll just have to figure that one out when it comes to it. But I just wanted to show you that without the all the support level resistance, support resistance levels that I'd drawn out already in the chart. Okay, so you can see that this level here, I'm going to leave the trend line on there. This level here is pretty important. I mean, trend lines can be ambiguous, right? As you can see here. So for example, if I just move this slightly like that, right? We got 2 taps there, 2 taps there, 2 taps there, deviation, and we're back here again. So it could be a little bit lower, right? They're ambiguous, and that's why I don't really like using trend lines so much, because you can move them. I can move them here, make it fit, right? And you end up overfitting this shit, and then you kind of like find yourself in trouble because, well, it could be there and it's open to interpretation. That's what I mean by ambiguous. So don't get too fucking obsessed with a trend line. This was just an observation, right? For me, the important thing really is, I'm just going to delete that trend line for now. For me, the important thing is volume. Okay, we did bounce on this volume here, low volume node there, and we are inside the developing value area low. Okay, so now the next level of resistance is the current year's VWAP, which also has confluence with the previous year value area high. All right, so the resistance is at around about 70,750 sats. Okay, if we can break above that, then it's all good for Ethereum BTC. If we're going to get rejected somewhere, that's the place where we're going to get rejected. Okay, but again, we had support here at 64,000 sats. Okay, so let's just wait and see if that plays out or not. I'm just going to put all those levels that I had as support and resistance and just see where we are right now. And basically they're all resistance now. Oh, fucking hell. So let me just make them all red. Resistance, this is the only one that's left as support. Okay, so, and this one here as well. So those are all levels of resistance. In terms of support, you can see that there's, you know, you can argue that there's this one here, which is basically that low volume node there. That's exactly where we bounced from. But after that, there's not really a lot going on there. So you can argue that this here is a level of support because it's the edge of a high volume cluster. We've also got the 2021 VWAP, and we've also got the value area low of 2021. But you can see here there's hardly any volume down there, so it's going to be a really quick trip down there if we start failing through these levels. Okay, ultimately this here could be support, and so could this one, right? I've put plenty of levels up there as resistance, so I might as well put plenty of levels as support as well, right? But essentially, this level here is super important, okay? This area here, all right? We really like to see this break back above again for Ethereum, but if somehow we break down, this here is the first line of defense, okay? The low volume node there, and 64,000 sats is a really important level. Lose that and it's going to go all the way down to 53,000 sats there. This is an important one because it's the previous year VWAP, okay? And if we lose that, there's nothing there, right? So it'll be a very quick trip all the way down to here. All right, so let's not even think about that for now. Let's just focus on the levels at hand. And like I said, this one here is key. And if we lose that one, we go to this one. All right, break above the yearly VWAP and we start sort of like maybe getting back inside of this range. Okay, so either here or even all the way up here. All right, we'll just have to wait and see. If we see the mother of all pumps, all these levels will get smashed straight through, okay? This is an important one because it's the developing value area high, and this one is clearly an important one as it's acted as resistance so many times at around about 76,000 sats. If we manage to get all the way up there again, after that it's just 78 and 81 as the levels of resistance, okay? So just in case we see a massive bull run and we do break above 32k on Bitcoin. Moving on to altcoins. Now I'm going to move on to altcoins. These are the DeFi coins, and again I'm going to highlight that all of this TA is really just TA, and it's not financial advice. And on top of that, you have to bear in mind that whatever Bitcoin does, these altcoins will follow. So take the TA with a pinch of salt. I'm giving you levels so that you know how to plan ahead. You can plan ahead in case. I'll give you always two scenarios, right? The bear scenario and the bull scenario. So at least you get some levels so that you can plan ahead. But as you can see, and this is the perfect illustration of it, I've given you big round numbers as levels of support. Bitcoin decided to dump. Guess what? None of this shit matters. Right? The price just, it just went straight back down. Straight down through them. Okay? So am I sort of going to hold those lines to like gospel? Of course not. Right? So for me, I'm going to delete these lines there. All right. The important line is this one. This is where we bounced. Okay. So I'm going to put that as a line of support. Here we had a little bit of, I'm going to put two orange lines there. We had a little bit of a movement there. If we see that on the 12-hour perhaps, or even on the 6-hour. Adjust those slightly. So look at the 4-hour. Yeah. Okay. So levels of support, I'd still go with big round numbers. But again, take those with a pinch of salt because when the market is tanking, it doesn't really respect it. Okay. So next level of resistance around about here. That's about just under 10 cents, okay, and 10 almost 11 cents here as well. Okay, next levels of resistance. It might cause a little bit of friction, it might not, but you can see that there's a little bit of a consolidation going on there, and we bounced there at 10 cents as well. So a little bit of consolidation, but a lot of fear in the markets, a lot of panic selling going on. Hence why we just tanked like that. So again, what I expect right now on FODL versus USDT, right, is something like this, and rebuild again if the price is to go up. If the price is to go down and we get if Bitcoin gets rejected there, then we come all the way up here, reject there, and we can carry on lower. And that's what I'm saying on FODL versus USDT. FODL versus USDC, this is on sushiswap. Again, not much in the way of support resistance levels. Okay, I've got a little reference point there. Make that as orange. And I've got not much else. Where am I? Oh, I must have deleted all those lines. Okay. Wow. Okay, fragmented to say the best. Okay. So, this is support until proven otherwise. Sorry, this is now resistance. It was support and it broke down, right? So that's resistance now. This here is support until proven otherwise because that's where we bounced from. So for some reason, somebody is willing to bid there, right? So at 8 cents, all right? So 10 cents or 11 cents, something like that. This one here could be potentially a little bit of resistance. But ultimately, 14 cents is the real level of resistance. It's the developing value area low, and it's also where we'd be previously bouncing here in the edge of a high volume cluster that you can see there, right? You can see that right there, that ledge, shelf, whatever you want to call it. All right, so that is definitely a level of resistance. And this could potentially be a level of resistance as well, because like I said, we did have a little stop there somewhere. So if somebody got long and kind of got stuck, then they'll probably want to get out of break even. So just bear that in mind, all right? If we are indeed bearish and we're going to go down, you start looking at these big round numbers again. And I'm sorry to say, but we're pretty much like really close to, I mean, you know, this is 9 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents. Bargain price. So this could be a great opportunity to buy so cheap. But anyway, these levels of support are a little bit ambiguous because they're really just big round numbers, okay? But they could bounce there, and if they bounce there, then I expect the price to do something like this and range between support and resistance until proven otherwise, okay? If we go all the way up to here, this is the next level. This is the real level of resistance because it's the edge of the high volume cluster, like I said, and we could even just be doing something like this. So please bear that in mind, all right? So that's FODL versus USDC. FODL versus ETH. Levels of support was here. I don't know what's happened. I've lost all of my previous levels there. Interesting. Okay. So anyway, doesn't matter. Good exercise to put them all back on again. Anyway, so previous level of support, I would say, so far this is holding as support. Next levels of support, it'll have to be big round numbers, but it's really all-time low, so there's hardly any point. It's anyone's guess, really, just guesswork. So I'm just going to put another horizontal line up here. This is resistance until proven otherwise. And you see how close it is to that value area low, developing value area low. So I could adjust it slightly like this, but actually I like the edge of this cluster. So this is what I'm looking at. So this is resistance, this is support. Break below this, and I think we're going to look for big round numbers. All right. If we break above that, then the next level of resistance will be this one here, which is the yearly VWAP. All right. So I'll put another little line there. I can even put another one up here. All right. So this is the yearly VWAP will undoubtedly cause a little bit of resistance, and then this level here is the edge of a high volume cluster, right? As you can see, the price been rotating there for a while. It created a big volume cluster, and that's why this could cause resistance. Previous support turns to resistance. Okay, so all the resistance levels there and the support levels are basically just big round numbers. All right, that's FODL versus ETH. Moving on to Binance Coin. So let's have a look at where we are. I'm going to delete some of these scribbles. Interesting. So we smashed straight through on that dump all of these levels of support, but we are above them now. So there's still support now. Okay, I still expect this level to act as support. This is the previous year VWAP, and this is the point of control of the big range. We couldn't close below that. So even though we tested this one and almost this one down here, those levels are still below us, so they might well hold as support. So this is support, this is support, this here is resistance, and so is this level here, right? So right now what I see is the price doing something like this, and even if we break above it like this, we could potentially just be ranging sideways. But this here is the big daddy of all levels, okay? Again, big high volume cluster there. All right, so I would be let me just look at this a little bit more objectively just to make sure that I've got this right. Yeah, it's a triple distribution, but it's definitely a high volume though. It's a high volume cluster. All right, you can see basically from the fact that we were rotating here pretty much like a range, right? Right, so this level here, which was previous support, is now going to be strong resistance. Okay, the edge of the high volume cluster. All right, so this here could act as support. It could even be this level here to act as support, and we could just be rotating inside of there. Simplify this. We could be rotating between those levels there. I'd still be careful with this one as a midpoint, if you like, because it's acted as support before. So potentially this could be a mini range here and a mini range there, right? So this whole range might have a halfway point. That's what I'm trying to say. Binance versus Bitcoin. I think this is going to be a common pattern on all of them, is that we're seeing right now. Okay, so we got rejected from this big order block. I've got this. This is basically the value area high. This is the previous year VWAP. Right, let me just delete that a second. Right, it looks like it's just in the middle of nowhere, but in reality, you've got a low volume node there that should have acted as support, and it did. Obviously, there's cascading liquidations, so that's why it went below, but it went straight back up inside this range. So, you know, Binance coin is looking strong, really, and it wants to stay inside this range. So be it. This is the range high up here. This is the range low, and the halfway point that I've highlighted here is that one. So we can have basically two mini ranges inside of the big range. Okay, if I put the VWAP back on, you can see that we're testing the current yearly VWAP right now. Okay, so will it get rejected and go on the bottom range, or will it get accepted and go and test resistance and go to the top range? You know, who knows? Either way, this is the range here, the whole thing, right, with a halfway point. All right, at the moment this is a no trade zone, of course, because we are in the middle, right? It's not healthy to be taking trades in the middle of a range. It's better to wait for the extremes and fade to the extreme. So at the lows you want to buy, at the highs you want to sell. I hope that makes sense. Binance versus ETH. Wow, so Binance held up much better than ETH by the looks of it. And we're currently testing the value area high, the developing value area high, right, which also has confluence with this level here, with the edge of this high volume cluster. All right, so this could be the mother of all shorts. Basically, we've just tested the highs, so this is a much better trade location than the middle, right? So if you're going short from here, remember to take profits in the halfway line, but your ultimate target is way down here. If that breaks down, then this is the next target. But here I would be taking most of the profits off the table. All right, you can see that the market is respecting that very, very well. We got rejected from the previous balance. This is a range here as well, right? This is a very clear rejection from that balance. It wants to stay on this range here between those two red lines. All right, so I'm going to change the color of this one, and I'm going to put that as green. All right, I hope that makes it clear. This is support, this is resistance. The halfway point is a friction point that is either a take profit or you know, somewhere to be careful. All right, which is the point of control. But essentially, this is what you want to play: short from the top, long from the bottom. AAVE versus USD. This is not good. AAVE is exactly the opposite of what's just happened. What I just showed you on Binance. Okay, so it does look like we're getting acceptance. Just bear me a second. right? So we've got a little range down here, right? This previous range. This level here we lost, level of support we lost. We tested that very quickly, and then we've fallen straight through this level that was supposed to be support. Well, it's now resistance. The $100 level is now resistance, okay, or $93. All right. So at the moment, it does look like we've come inside of the balance, retested the edge, and it's not breaking above. Break above this here, and we're okay. We're going to go and sort of like this will be resistance, and this will be support, right? And it'll be something like this. But until then, this looks like it's being resistance here. So, as such, you would take a short position from here, put the stop above the previous high, and you'll be targeting this level down here. All right, and obviously taking profits halfway. All right, so this range, let's examine this range. You can see there's a bit of consolidation there. That's basically why we've got a high volume cluster there, why we've got the high volume node there. Right, here we go. So you can see that the point of control is right here in the middle. So even if you're short here, remember to take profits at the 0.5, okay? So resistance right now is $93, support is $16, but the halfway point is around about $50, $60, okay? So it's not just going to go from $90 to $16. This is not Luna we're talking about, all right? So just bear that in mind. This is a daily chart. But however, if this is a big range that we're supposed to be entering right now, this is the next level of support. This is the next level of resistance. But if we fail this one, that's where we're going to go next. All right? I hope that makes it clear. So that's AAVE versus USD. Actually, let's just talk about the bullish case scenario. If we break above it, then this is resistance. And this one here is the mother of all resistances because it's the value area low as well. And the edge of yet another big range. Okay? I would count this one, but in my opinion, that's not the range. Okay? This was support. Then we failed to get above the developing value area low. So we fell below to the next level of support. And then here when we rallied, where did we bounce? We bounced that one. Right? So that's the real support. And this here, around about $136, is a really important level. Okay? So I want you to bear that in mind, even though $100 is also an important level. But 113 is it's a meh level. Okay? This here is important. $136 in case we do go up. Okay, when I mean it's important means that it'll be resistance, strong resistance, but if we break above it, that's a great victory. Okay, so key level, that's basically what I'm trying to say. AAVE versus Bitcoin, and we're at the bottom of the range, and it does look like we kind of bounced there. So we did lose this level here, so I'm going to put that as orange. No, I'll put that as red, as resistance. And I'm going to delete some of those scribbles and start with the explanation again. All right, so here we are, bottom of the range. Okay, this is going to be the first level of resistance. This one here is a strong resistance because it's the value area low, developing value area low. So basically, we kind of like rotate inside of those two levels there, or that one, meaning, you know, sort of like this. Could do either or, right? But ultimately, this here is the big level of resistance. Okay, that one there. Okay, break above that one, then this is the next level of resistance. All right, and then of course this one here. As for support levels, you can see that we've got the value area high there. This is an important one actually. We need to get out of this and get back above that, because as you can see, if this is the value area high, which is this level of resistance here, okay, this is the value area high, and we go and test it and cannot get back above it, then I think we've got a very strong chance of coming back down again, and these levels here will be the next levels of support. All right, so that's what I'm looking at, perhaps even this one. Okay, I'm looking at this area here with the VWAP there, straight through the middle. All right, so that's what I'm looking at right now, and you've got scenarios for You've got all scenarios now, okay? So this is an important level of resistance until proven otherwise. We've got very strong resistance above. If we cannot break above that, then I think we're going to go down and we're going to try these levels out, particularly this middle one here. Okay, if we break above that, then of course we're back inside of this range and we're very likely to start rotating in there, even though we've got little levels of resistance here. All right, moving on to AAVE versus ETH. Let's have a look at how this did. AAVE broke down but reclaimed those levels of support, so I'm going to leave it as it is. It's exactly how it is, right? So we've got this range here, right? So this is next level of resistance, this is the next level of support. If we rotate sideways, then great. Break below that, then we've got this level here as support and this level here as support. Break above that and we've got this level here as resistance and the next levels as resistance too. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Moving on to Compound versus USD. Alright, so this is a little bit more complicated on this one. You can see previous levels of support being turned to resistance now. Okay, this one I'm going to put as orange because it looks like we're trying to reclaim it. Alright, I'm going to delete those brush marks because they're no longer valid. We're not ranging there. Just as a sort of a look in, you can see that this level here, this area here, is going to be strong resistance. The reason I say that is because above here we've got the previous year value area low, but also this was support, and we broke down and we've not tested it as resistance. So this, which is also the edge of a high volume cluster, is going to be strong resistance. So this one not so much. I mean, this one we could actually retrace the whole thing and go all the way back to here, but that one here is a high probability trade. Okay, it does look like this level of support worked, and so is this one, and now we're struggling with this one here. So let's wait and see if we can crack it. All right, if not, then we're just kind of rotate inside of here, right? That the bullish case scenario means that we go to this resistance and break above it. The bearish case scenario means that even if we go all the way up to there, we've still got a chance of breaking down, right? Levels of support, this is pretty much at all-time lows, so you're going to have to start looking at big round numbers such as 50, 40, 30, 20, and so on. Okay, big round numbers, but ultimately what we're looking at really is an attempt right now to retest that resistance. So let's just wait and see if we can take that resistance or not, or if we're going to get rejected there. This is going to be the same for all or most of the altcoins. Compound versus BTC. Bounced on that level of support there, which is basically a big round number, yet again 200 sats, right? When we're all-time lows, that's what we do. We go to big round numbers. You can see it fucking to the dollar, right? Because when people put orders on the exchanges, where do they put the orders? They put the orders at big round numbers. Nobody types in 201, 198. Nah, they type in 200. So that's why I look at those levels as levels of interest. So moving on, I think this is now a level of resistance. These levels here, I'm going to delete actually. Okay, just because otherwise it's too messy, right? In my personal opinion, this here is the next level of resistance. It's the edge of a high volume cluster, right? So we rotate like this. Previous support turns to resistance. Simple as that. Break above that, and this is the next level of resistance. And that means we rotate inside of there. Break above that, and we go to the next level. Levels of support. Well, maybe here you can start looking at, again, big round numbers, right? So it bounced on 200. So you want to look at 150. And you could even go to the decimals. It could be 160, 170, 180. So, you know, we're at all-time lows. So this is basically how I look at things. But people want to look at 150, perhaps 100, and so on. Okay, and this is on a higher time frames, it looks better on the chart. If you're on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour, then by all means use the decimals such as 150, 160, 170 and so on. Okay, but that was a big pullback and it only went all the way to 200, so it's not too bad from 260 compared to Bitcoin. Compound versus ETH, same scenario. Okay, this now turns to resistance. All right, this here, the dotted one, is a big level of resistance because it's the edge of a high volume cluster as well, and previous level of support. So again, the price could do something like this. If it breaks above this, is an important level of resistance. It's also the value area low, okay, of the current year. If we break down, then this is the next level of support. BAT versus USD, this is going to be interesting as well, no doubt, but it's very much all the same thing. Kind of lost some levels, regained the levels, right? So this one is exactly at the same sort of location that we were on Wednesday, right? I said that this level here would be support, this level here would be resistance. We rotate inside of this one, right? And if we break above it, then we rotate inside of that one. Okay, there's a little belly there in terms of volume. Okay, this is a low volume node, so we could fill that one out. Okay, but as you can see, these levels here, these high volume clusters, they do hold as support. All right, and it just works. It's also the previous, this is 2020's value area high, and that's basically where we bounced there. Look, right, this line here. So a little bit of confluence there for you. Either way, like I said, this is support, this is resistance. And if we can break above that one, then I think it's going to be safe to assume that we go all the way to this one, to the value area low of the developing year VWAP. Okay, we're back inside of the previous year's value area low. BAT versus BTC. Well, this can stay as support. This is going to be resistance now. And this one's going to be resistance as well. And this one, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to delete that one. Okay, nice and clean now. All right, so in fact, let me just delete these scribbles here. All right, right now, I think that we are... yeah, I think we've got a very strong chance of holding this like this. Let's have a look. That's about right. Just bear with me a second. Okay, so I think we've got a very good chance of holding this as support, and so price would do something like this. Break above it, we've got a little bit of support turn resistance now. Okay, all the way up here, but eventually if we break above that, then this is the next level. Okay, so effectively all the way from here to here, with this holding as support, and then we've got some ranges between there, between those two levels, and eventually between that one there. All right, so that's what I'm seeing right now. Levels of resistance in red, levels of support in green. BAT versus ETH held up very well compared to ETH, so they're both dumped just as equally bad. But you can see here this held as support. This level here was the previous year's value area low, and it has confluence with this edge that we're at now, resistance. Okay, so this is resistance until proven otherwise, and as such, we're going to be doing this kind of price action, rotating in there. Okay, break above it, this is the next level of resistance. Break below it, these are the next levels of support. Link versus USD. Same thing. This held at support. Okay, it's not entirely like, it wasn't to the dollar, $5, but it was $5.30. Okay, so these are support, these are resistance until proven otherwise. So we range inside of there. Like I had this little arrow here to delineate the range. Okay, break above it, we go to this one. Break below it, we go to that one. Link versus BTC. All right, so we've definitely fallen out of that one. I'm going to leave those lines on. Okay, so this was an important, the reason I put a rectangle there is this was an important level of support. And again, the reason I've put a rectangle is because it's a low volume node. Okay, that's usually how I know, because otherwise these lines start getting a little bit confusing, right? In my personal opinion, we're now inside of the lower range, right? So for me, this is now a red matter. Okay, so this is now resistance until proven otherwise. So for me, this is now support, potentially this one, but this here is resistance. All right, so we're trading between this level here and this level here. Break above it and we go back inside this range. Break below it and I think we're going to have to start looking at big round numbers. Or, oh no, okay. Now, if we go below it, I'm going to put that like that. Okay, break below that level and I think we enter a new balance area. You saw that, I showed you that. Basically what I've done is I just used all of this consolidation here. It created a high volume cluster and basically that's a balance area. Okay, and what I mean by that is that the price, once it enters the balance area, it will rotate to both sides. Okay, and it becomes a range. So this is the main premise of it. Okay, so as you can see, we are below this level of resistance. This is support. Break below it. This is the last level of support before we've got a massive range here. Okay, so these levels have to hold. All right, so that's Chainlink versus Bitcoin. So that level is 1550 sats. Link versus ETH. Well, again, let me just delete all these scribbles. All right, so this level is definitely resistance now. It's been confirmed. So we just rotate inside of this here. But as we enter the big balance area, as you can see, this is a rectangle, right? It's due to volume. As we enter a big balance area, this is interesting. Big balance area, the next target will be logically down here, right? However, I hadn't looked at this. You can see this square here is the previous year. This is the 2019 value area low, right? So let me just put a little, I'm going to put an orange line there. We go to the current price now. Where does the price bounce? Right there on the orange line. Anyway, it might just be a coincidence. So I'm going to take that off anyway. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to leave it on because that could definitely be support there. Okay, there's no point of ignoring that. It bounced there for some reason, right? So could do something like this. This is the next level of support, and this one here is the last sort of target, if you like, for this short. When I said to you guys all those weeks ago that we've entered a new balance area and potentially we could be going all the way down here. Ultimately, that's the target. And that's in fact exactly what happened. These lines here would have been green as lines of support, and they've turned red as we've lost those levels of support. Okay, so if you're in a short from up here, well done. You're probably rich now. At these levels here, am I looking for shorts? No. At these levels here, I'd be looking for longs. But of course, it depends on market conditions. Moving on to Uni versus USD, Uniswap. Interestingly enough, we're inside, we bounced here, couldn't close below that. I'm going to delete these view apps because this is starting to get a little bit confusing otherwise. Right, so again, we're trading inside of this one here, this range. All right. So this is resistance, this is support, and this here is resistance too. So essentially you've got that rectangle there is one big range, right? One big range with a halfway point. All right, break below it, we'll be trading down here. Break below this level, and this is the next level of resistance down here at $3. If we break below $4, that is. But next level of resistance $6, and then after that is $8. Okay, so this is a range between $4 and $8, a massive range. Okay, side of there. Moving on to Uni versus Bitcoin. Level of support, level of resistance. Okay, that's the range there. If we break below it, this will be the range instead, right? Between these two, with this level here as being the next level of support. All right, put that as green. Break down below that, and you can see that there's no previous price action. So it's going to be a long trip all the way to down to, I don't know why I've put 519. Really, it should be 600. But then we've got big round numbers. Okay, so you got 1,000 sats, got 800 sats, 900 sats, and so on. Okay, so just bear that in mind. But you can see that basically this is at all-time lows, and that level really needs to hold, and it's doing a good job so far. Okay, it didn't even get tapped, right? It bounced around about 1,400 sats. So in fact, let's put that there. How about that? Okay, so that's what I'm aha, that's why I had that level there. Okay, now it makes more sense. Okay, so basically, yeah, this is support. This one here is support, and we're going to be ranging inside of this here. You can see that there's a dotted line right here. This is acted as resistance, and we broke above, went to the next one, and broke below it. So will this act as resistance again? It's possible, right? So with that in mind, you could actually say that we could rotate inside of this range and that range, with the whole thing being a bigger range, if that makes any sense. Okay, so you got the levels there on the right. You guys can pause the video and check it out. Same thing here. This is the top of the range, this is the bottom of the range, of course, and we've got two mini ranges inside another one. All right, so let's just delete all of those. All right, so we've fallen below, we've got reaccepted back in. Okay, so this is resistance until proven otherwise, and so is this one here. This needs to be confirmed as support, because if it doesn't hold as support, this will be the next level of support. Okay, that's Uni versus ETH, and I think that's it. So let's move on to back to Bitcoin. Just do a quick recap. 3,400. We're still kind of like on our way to trying to find if we can see if we can find acceptance above yeah, 32,000, something like that. Okay, we'll see. Okay, 31,500, 32,000 is the level of interest, and we're still on our way there. So very slow market today. So again, I hope this was clear. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope it helps you stay on the right side of the trades. Like I said, keep an eye on Bitcoin, keep an eye on the legacy markets, because otherwise there's no point of gambling with altcoins unless you know what's going on in on the macro view, you know, on the overview. So if you guys have any questions, please ask in the group. The group invitation to join the group, the FODL Discord, is in the video description. I will add the timestamps now, and then I shall head off for the afternoon and have the weekend with the kids. But I hope you have a nice weekend. I hope you trade smart. I hope you haven't lost a lot of money. I hope these technical analysis updates in the group help you stay in profit. I get good feedback from there, so hopefully you're all following and you're all making money out of it, which is great. But yeah, just be safe and trade smart. You know, at this level here, this is a very risky level, okay? Right here, this could be where basically things turn nasty and we go down. So just keep that in mind, all right? Just keep safe and trade smart, okay? Have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you guys on Monday. Cheers. Bye-bye.